welcome to episode 4 of the Little Big Business podcast.
So, Tawstock Court is how we phrase it, a Georgian country house. Oh, fantastic!
Hello everybody, welcome to the Little Big Business podcast. I am your host Danny Hollywood of Danny Hollywood Video, Drone and Photo, your international award-winning video and photo team. But as per every single episode so far, this podcast is nothing to do with me. It is about my illustrious guest. Now, this guest I am super excited to have on because this guest has had a mention in podcast 1 and podcast 2. So I'm welcoming Miss Laura Painter of Tawstock Court.
Hello.
Hello.
Thank you so much for having me today.
You're very welcome. How are you?
Not too bad, thank you.
Yeah. Coming back off a crazy, busy season for you?
It's been absolutely crazy, but fantastic. So we've still got a few things left to do. Still got the Christmas, what I like to call the Christmas season, still to go. But yeah, it's been an amazing year so far. Feeling a little bit tired now, but so far it's been great.
I bet. Because obviously, naturally, when we all get down, we come off the big summer season and we get into the winter. There's still stuff going on for us, but we are generally on a bit of it. It's a bit more chilled out. They're a bit more sporadic. Means that you're just not quite under so much pressure where we've got one and then we've got to get them happy and out the door so that then we can prep for the next one. And obviously, so for those of you who obviously don't know, Laura is the owner of Tawstock Court. Now, Tawstock Court happens to be one of, I personally think, the very best venues in North Devon. And I do mean that, and I'm not even fluffing there.
Thanks, Danny.
Because that's why I wanted you on, and why I think you got a mention in both pod 1 and pod 2, and I wasn't even doing the one mentioning. Yeah, it was actually.
That means such a lot.
That's cool. The person obviously in that seat was both times mentioning you in a very positive light.
Fine.
You're very welcome. Now, when I think about how I feel about a venue, naturally it does come from a bit of a selfish point in terms of how because you can, to a point, you can make any venue look a certain way. If you're good at your craft, you're good at photos, you're good at video, you can make any venue look its very best. However, the strength of your venue is you and your team, yeah? Because whenever I, myself, or anybody else that I know that I've worked with who come to your venue, they are looked after like kings and queens. Yes?
That's my aim in life. I've always been of the persuasion that, even before we set up the business, I like to be to treat people how I like to be treated, and I think that's so important. It's not just a business, it's giving people the most special day, and you've got one shot at doing it. I always think, what would I like for my wedding day? What did I have? How did I feel? And it's making people feel so special that we, always try and sort of go, above and beyond. And actually, I love wedding days anyway because everyone is so happy.
Yes.
It's the only time, and I do, when I speak to couples, even from the very beginning, I say, it's such an important day because it's the one time where all of your family and all of your friends and all those people you love are with you, for you, and your partner, for that one day.
Absolutely.
You are never going to get that again.
No.
Or it won't be, it might do obviously if you have like a big party or something, but specifically, it's so important. And we want to make sure that we are there to help them through that, to help with the nerves, help with, the excitement as well, and actually be part of it. Like having a good boogie at the end of the night, yes. Or the staff have a bit of a party at the end of the night, just because it's so nice. Obviously, we work very hard, but it is nice to know that you've given someone a good day.
Of course, and I do think that's part of the process. Yes, I think that part of the reason why I receive so obviously I get some very lovely and glowing reviews about what I do. Now, most of those reviews, they aren't based on the end product. They just aren't. Because everyone's end product is similar. I have a certain style, and if you've booked me, you like it. So then what your end product should to a degree look like. Every day's different, weather's different, people are dressed differently, people get married in different positions, especially in your location because you've got multiple, so you've got choices.
Look.
Yeah. Now I do think that is so important because naturally you are such a huge integral part of someone's day, as am I. Yes, as their photographer, as their videographer, I spend, like you do, I spend all day with them. I'm there from the prep phase all the way through to the evening. Now, if at any point I'm not making them feel a certain way, then I'm not doing them justice. But I would say, in a very similar ilk to you, yes, I'd like to think I'm a happy human. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, you're always smiling. I think that's a mantra of life. Always smile.
Of course. Because life's good, and you're there on someone's huge day, and it's awesome. I only spoke to somebody who we are speaking to collectively today, who might be looking at either photos, video, or both with me, and they are looking at you as the potential venue. Yes. Now, when I was speaking back to them, I was speaking about this very exact thing that, how you feel on your wedding day, get rid of any preconception about how you feel, because with that preconception about how you feel, it'll be thrown in the bin, because you're never going to look so good, you're never going to feel so good. You're hopefully marrying the person of your dreams. You are with all the people that you know and love. That's going to change, or not change who you are as a person, but it is going to push up all the happy factors, all the positive nature that might be a bit hidden, buried. Yes, I'm thinking mostly at the men here.
It's a very emotional day, and you don't know, the couples never know what to expect, because a lot of them haven't done it before, and even if they have, it doesn't matter. It's still a new experience, with new people, and it's such an important thing. And you want to take them from the very beginning. You want to be with them on that journey.
Yes.
Being on the journey with them and helping them to plan it, helping them get excited, but also being there to support and advise. Advise them on certain things, or if they've got questions, because ultimately, if you're doing something for the first time, you want to be guided, don't you?
Yeah.
And you don't know how you're going to feel, and you feel nervous about things that may not be a worry. But equally, if you want to get excited, it's good to have someone to get excited with.
Absolutely.
Who understands, and you can say, "Don't worry, it's all cool. Just enjoy."
Absolutely.
Enjoy that process.
Yes, and definitely as a venue, you obviously you interact with so many suppliers, so many different people. Every wedding is different. Every wedding brings its own good sides, bad sides, ordinary sides. You learn something from every single day. So naturally, you are in such a strong position where if you are looking for tips and advice, ask your venue, because they will know. Yeah, because you'll know photographers that I don't. You'll know videographers that I don't. You'll know vendors. You'll know flower people. You'll know celebrants, you'll know so many people that I've never even met before, and I think I know everybody in this industry, but you certainly will know more than me.
Yeah, I tell you what, I have had the privilege and the honour of working with so many amazing wedding suppliers. Obviously yourself, very, very much in the top of that list.
Thank you.
But we work very closely with lots of suppliers in the North Devon Wedding Network that we're a member of. We've been so for about 5 or 6 years now, I think. But I've people who do venue styling, like Vicky from Do Me a Favour, caterers like Chef Duet. We have beauticians and hairdressers and video. There's just so many wonderful people. Disco entertainment. Honestly, it's just amazing. You see people all the time that come to the venue, and some of them haven't been to see us before. Some of them have. Some of them are. We call it a little bit of a Tawstock family, really, with the people that come here all the time. They tend to people who still they're well known in the area as well, and they come to us and are part of a wedding, and it's just wonderful because you get to build relationships, really special relationships with wedding suppliers,
yes.
And that will only help to grow the wedding industry, as well as it makes everything run so smoothly because everyone knows exactly where they should be, what they need to be doing, where they are. You know, we always look after each other, and that's so important because it can be very stressful, and you can have challenges that come out of nowhere, and you have to rely on each other to help each other out, get you through that without it being noticed. You know, you kind of, you know, you sort of slide through it, and all the time. I can't think of anything that's touch wood that's ever gone wrong, but you know, people are there. You need that support, of course.
Absolutely, and the strength that you bring to the table, and I'd say this massively in comparison to other venues, is that you have business owners who are in your team. So you've got people in your team that in their fields they are super successful, so they know how to run a ship. Like no problem, and they are running your ship and working alongside you. And I just think the strength of the team that you have, because they could do it on their own, but they're not, and they're doing it with you and for you. And it just means that your team, you have employees, and you're like, well, I don't actually have to tell them anything. You can just go, cool, that needs doing. And you know, because these people are successful business owners, that they know what hard graft looks like. Because FYI, if you're running your own business, you do the hard parts on a daily basis. Yeah, because you do, don't you?
Well, it's all the stuff that people don't see in the background. You know, it's not just, the wedding day and any other event that you do, whether it be wedding, corporate, whatever kind of event that goes on, the day obviously of that particular thing is very important, the most important thing. But what goes on behind the scenes and all the planning, the preparation, the admin, the communication, it's not just that one. You know, you're dealing with lots and lots and lots of weddings, lots of events, lots of different people, but not just that, suppliers, all the people that, you know, you have to, you know, liaise with in terms of just making the business successful. Like, you know, I'm not being funny, but like the cleaners, the window people, the suppliers who provide all your, you know, office supplies, just everything that's needed to run a venue or to run a business. A lot of people, you know, they do have an understanding of it, but, you know, you have to have all those things work, you know, perfectly together to make it successful. And I tell you what, it's been a journey to get where we are now. It has been amazing journey. It's been very stressful at times. It's been, you know, exciting at times. It's been like, you want to cry behind the bar, which is what happened at my first wedding. I was like, oh my gosh, just sit behind the bar, cry for 5 minutes and think, okay, right, that crying is not going to solve anything. I've got to do something. You know, you've got to go through that to be able to get to where you want to be. And we're still growing, you know, like every business, you're still looking to grow and improve. There's no such thing as a finished product. There is always room for improvement.
Absolutely.
And it's just about enjoying that. And keep going, never give up.
Enjoying the ride, but you're always on a journey. It's always moving forward. I always think that, and look, there are reasons why I have the certain people that I've had so far on this pod, yes, and why I was so very prevalent that I wanted you on, yes, because I think you're a lovely, wonderful human. But you're also an incredible business person, yes? In terms of, I think you run a fantastic venue and you do it very, very well. Now, I think that whole drive is why it's the way it is. It's why you're so successful. It's why your venue is talked about in very glowing terms. And so every single one of my guests so far has been wedding vendors to a point. And two of them were, Mark, who again,
I love Mark, he's great.
And he was talking about you in glowing terms. And then we had Jax from the Boho Mobile catering. I did it again. Mobile cocktail bar. I've got catering and cocktail bar. Nightmare. Sorry, bro. You'll see that again. And you know, they're also very excited about meeting you, about seeing your beautiful venue. So I think that probably takes us on to that point. So we've talked about into great detail about sort of, you know, what you do, why you do it, how you do it. But we actually haven't talked about, so we've mentioned it, but what is Tawstock Court?
So Tawstock Court is let me just how we phrase this, a Georgian country house.
Okay.
And so that's how we like to see it. But yeah, it's a beautiful big country house just outside of Barnstable. A lot of people, especially locals, used to know it as formerly as St Michael's School. And it was a school for 70 years before we took it over. It was a wonderful, wonderful school. I've had so many great stories that have been told back to me from people that visited who used to be like past pupils there, or who used to visit from other schools to like play to play against them in teams and things. I've had a number of couples who got married with me who were past pupils or things like that. It's just brilliant. I can't imagine, no offence to my old school, but I wouldn't want to get married at my old school. But no, that's been really wonderful. But so when we took it over, it sadly sort of went into administration, which was very sad for the locals. I know it was quite upsetting, but we wanted to really make sure we kept the memory of St Michael's alive still. And actually, it's a fabulous building. It needed a lot of work. Needed a lot of work doing to it to get it to the stage. But we kind of knew that, and we wanted to do it justice. So we did it, slowly but carefully. And it is a Grade 2 listed building, so we had to do it very carefully as well. But so we obviously predominantly do weddings, but we also do a lot of corporate trainings. We've just had a couple in the last day or two, which have been great. Yes. So we do private events as well, but we also do public events like Murder Mystery. So we're trying to expand our portfolios to what we can offer. It's a lovely building, and a lot of people still really don't know that we're around. Yeah. We're getting our name out there now, because we sort of officially opened in April 2019, which was just before the terrible COVID pandemic hit. But you know what? We've bounced back from the side, which we're really, really grateful, because a lot of people have stuck with us and helped us through all that. Like I'm sure that many businesses have luckily come out the other end. But we're still getting our name out there to do certain things. So we have accommodation on site, which always helps. So we try, people can come from all over the country, really, to come and see us and have their event with us and things. So, yeah. Yeah.
No, very cool. Very cool. No, definitely something that one of my things that I'm thinking of doing into next year is, and it's crazy when I say it out loud, knowing how busy next year is going to be for me, but what I want to do is I want to do something like every now and again, maybe once a month, I might do like a venue spotlight type thing where I might, as me, I might go to a venue and I might video it. I'll stick the drone up, get some really nice establishing stuff, maybe do a walk around of the building, showcase it, talk about it from my perspective. Maybe get whoever the owner is, possibly yourself, if it's something that you might be interested in. And then that is something that I can create it, I've got it, but it's something that you as a venue, you could have. Yes? So you could have a little video that, look at this, you could showcase to customers and be like, look at this video that is about us, but it wasn't made by us. It was made for us. Yeah, it was made from a vendor that is pro us, and just showcases what it can do, the grandeur, the size. Because when you say this Georgian house, it's a whopper, boys and girls. It used to be a school, so it is going to be a certain size. And yeah, back in my tennis days, I've done some teaching up at Tawstock.
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh my goodness. Do you know what? There's always a link somewhere along the line.
If you are involved in like teaching or sport or in this North Devon area, naturally there's usually there you are, another link to your little phone. Absolutely. Yeah, so I know it I do know it as a school, because I've been here long enough that in my 20s I was up there teaching a bit of tennis and stuff. So absolutely. No, cool. Okay. So obviously you have this beautiful venue. So where did you come from with regards to moving down here?
Well, it's a bit of a not too complicated a story, but I was born in the Midlands, so I sort of grew up there, moved down to South Devon when I was 18, and I, to cut a long story short, worked in marketing for about 9 years for a construction company who sadly doesn't exist anymore, but it was, I enjoyed it, and I made some really special friends along the way. But equally, when I was sort of between the ages of about 16 and 22, I just got, wanted to get a job, wanted to earn a bit of money, and I sort of started working in a couple of hotels as, a chambermaid and a waitress, and working behind the bar. I worked in a Wetherspoons in Torquay for a couple of years as well, as well as alongside my marketing main role. And, so I've sort of always been in hospitality, if you know what I mean. I've always loved working with people. I definitely say I'm a people person.
Oh, absolutely.
I love just being with people and helping people, chatting to them, and so when I finished marketing, I sort of had a bit of a change of career, really, and I wanted to go into teaching. So I retrained at university at 26 and did a business degree and stuff, and became a teacher. So I was a secondary school teacher in Plymouth.
Nice.
So I've always sort of been in Devon for more than half my life now.
Yes.
But then I fell pregnant with my firstborn, and at that point, because I was still teaching, my husband's side of the family, who as a family we got Tawstock Court came up and said, look, this has come up, do you want to sort of take a punt and turn it into some sort of family business? Because they have got some background of running businesses. I didn't have a clue at this stage, not a clue. But I've always loved weddings, so I knew that, having said that, weddings was not going to be on the cards, actually, for quite a few years. That they said, look, do you want to take a punt? I know it's a bit of a change of career, it's a bit of an up move up to North Devon from South Devon, but shall we go for it and just take a risk and just see what happens? Wow. And I thought, you know what? If you've only got one shot at life, so why not just go for it,
shoot your shot,
and just see what happens. So just me and my husband moved up in I think it was July 2012 was when we moved into Tawstock Court. And like I say, it was left like the Mary Celeste of a school. It was quite upsetting, because being a teacher myself, or having been I was still teaching actually when we first got the place. I can understand how upsetting it must have been for it all to have closed, and and everything like that. So I tried to do it, to do what I could right by them, and keep all the important stuff. And we still have got quite a bit of stuff there. We've tried to re-put up and to keep for the school. And then we kind of, over the 5-6 years, I had 2 children, so I was helping to renovate it and doing all that stuff. And I worked a little job at Lidl's in between that, and I also. This is where, funny enough, I first kind of met a few people in the wedding industry. Was I used to make bridal birdcage veils and jewellery and lace things. So I sort of was in as a wedding supplier, weirdly. And actually, there's a lady called Hey Jules, who's a fabulous jewellery maker. I love her so much. And I happened to be at a wedding fair years ago with mine, and I noticed her then. I was thinking, oh my gosh, she's amazing, and also Sorelli Strings, who were a trio just across the way from us, who do a lot of stuff. They're fabulous. And little did I know that in a couple of years' time I'd be making friends with these people, and they'd all be coming to the venue. So it was then we decided what we were going to do with the place. And my husband's side of the family have all come from sort of Devon as well, so they've kind of come up from there. So it was a risk taking it, but we wanted just to give it all and see what happened, and see where life took us, really.
Because I suppose, obviously, I don't want to touch into, when I say any of this, I don't want to know, like, in terms of figures or anything of that nature. But naturally, because it was in administration, obviously there must have been an opportunity there, and it's like, right, cool, okay, this is going to cost X and Y, but it's not going to necessarily be the scary amounts that might be untenable. That might have if it was running successfully and you tried to buy it from them, naturally that price becomes untenable because of the nature of the beast of what it is. Yes, because it's a whopping great building, isn't it? And
it certainly is.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot to it. No, it's funny because naturally, when you say, hey, Jules is a family friend. Yeah. So she's really good friends with, she's just the loveliest lady, isn't she? She's so she's friends with my wife's side of the family. So then when we got married, me and my wife, she did all our jewellery for my wife and stuff. So, and the great thing about her is actually she's remade everything. So all her headpiece is now jewellery. Yes. So my wife's still got it, which she's really buzzed about. And yeah, wicked lady. She actually, if you were to ever look at I know it's going for a bit of a change, but if you looked at the North Devon Wedding Network logo, that's done by Jules, yes, because she has a creative background, doesn't she? She's obviously just the most incredible lady. And like you, I'd never met Sorelli until I'd joined this industry. So I was just dabbling in video when I got married, and it's grown into the beast that it is today. So.
Fabulous one as well.
Cool. Okay. So before we get into the next part, I think what we'll do is we'll have a little break. So this is the end of part 1. We'll see you very shortly for part 2. So, welcome back to part 2 of the podcast. Part 1 just absolutely flew by because we were just discussing off camera actually that so far I haven't done one of these pods yet with anybody that I don't know yet. So naturally that has made my life a little bit easier because we aren't strangers.
No, that's very true.
Which does make it naturally a bit easier because I also do know an awful lot about your venue and you, so naturally it makes it a little bit easier for me to direct questions or topics, I suppose, in a direction I want to get some juicy bits from you. But all is good. So the next thing I sort of think that maybe we could talk about is, so I'll start here where I will talk about the origins of this. And so I have said on a previous pod that it came from a YouTube background, and that's where my first wedding ever came from. Not strictly true. I did have another business before this called DH Drones, and that was just because I did not know what to call it. Because my video company actually started off as just a drone business, because I was the first commercially qualified drone pilot in North Devon. Yeah, because it was back in the day when drones were brand new.
I bet they've got so many more features now and all this kind of thing.
Absolutely,
yeah.
massively.
But you do it so well. Like,
seen
so many of your filmings that you've done for past weddings, and honestly, they're fantastic.
No, it is.
So, yes.
You do this, so I get it. So you'll get this when I say this, in terms of all I ever look to do is put my very best foot forward. If I'm not putting my best foot forward, then I'm letting the person that's paying me good money for me to be there down. And naturally, my price is escalated accordingly, because naturally I don't believe I'm not too hot on overcharging. Yes. I like to think that I keep my costings in range of North Devon based customers, so that's cool. A London-based client or a North-based client can come down to us and they might have more budget. So they might come to us and they might use our facilities that we have, and that's great. Or they might pull me to them, but they'll pay extra for that facility for me to go there. But when it comes to people in our area, I like to think I keep it at a point where actually it's affordable for everybody. So that's when naturally using the drone was one thing, and then I started pointing the camera at me and talking to it and being one of those. And then that just slowly but surely just kept evolving, and now I don't do YouTube at all beyond this now, which does have its own YouTube channel, because I just don't have time, actually.
Well, that's not a bad reason, is it?
No, not bad, really.
It is quite scary talking into a camera, though.
Oh yeah.
Like that takes a lot of confidence by putting yourself on screen and actually saying something and not sounding, that's a lot. That's quite scary.
No, it is.
Like being the centre of attention.
It's 100% the reason. One of the reasons why I wanted to do this podcast, because actually there are multiple people like yourself who, you are for me a confident lady, yes. But in the same breath, absolutely, what we're doing is so different. Whenever I talk into a camera, I have a few people that I know of that are in this industry that they think what I do on camera is amazing in terms of when I talk to it and how I do it and how I shoot it. And I'm like, but mine has to look that way, doesn't it? Because it's what I do professionally. So if I put out bad video quality, it wouldn't look good for me because that's what I do. Yeah, it is really, isn't it? If I put out shoddy video content, then it does come across bad. But that whole idea of talking to a camera and it not giving you something back was something that I wrestled with for years, because we are as we are talking right now, and when I say things that you might like or might agree with, you would naturally, you might smile or you might nod your head or you might say yes or because we agree, because we're reacting to each other's movements, our body language, what we're saying. But when you talk to a camera, it gives you none of that.
That's really true. I never thought of it like that before.
Yeah, it gives you none of
That's
that.
strange, isn't it? I have never thought about that, but you're absolutely right. You kind of everyone plays off each other. So if you're happy, it's like someone said, if you're walking down the street, or even if you're at work and you smile at someone, they tend to smile back because it's a reaction, and it just makes it so much more easy and things flow, and that helps with confidence, doesn't it?
It does.
And, so I think that's
100%.
a great thing.
100%. So obviously, this opportunity has presented itself to you. So what challenges did you face in that period? So you've purchased Tawstock. So you've got this place. What did it look like? What state was it in?
Oh, well, there was. It needed a fair bit of TLC. Let's put it that way. We had to. Obviously strip everything, and we had to replaster quite a few things. We had to replace the whole roof, we had to resash all the windows, we had to completely re-render and paint the whole outside of the building. I mean, it's just a huge amount of work, huge amount of work. And it's like any old building, it needs to be looked after. It needs to be, because it wasn't just one part of it, it was the whole lot of it. So it was quite overwhelming, really. It was amazing. I mean,
this space, this is the top floor of a townhouse. So
very trendy though.
It was in bad condition, like really bad. And some places I've hid things, in other places I've repaired things, but I've done it. But it's cost me a fortune just to do this space the way that I want it. So I can't imagine how hard.
We had to start at one point and then say, right, so the first part was making it so it was, livable. So it was the building itself was structurally safe and everything was no leaks, because obviously the amount of damp and, dry rot and all kinds of issues, that we faced along the way. But equally, there was some parts which were fantastic. So, you just kind of build off of that. And we wanted to do it sympathetically, to the building as well. So we started off at, okay, let's just make it, structurally fine, and let's just start from one point and just kind of work our way through and just take our time and do it properly. And also we had to think about what we were going to do with the building at that point, which at the time wasn't weddings. It was no anything to do with weddings, really. It was going to be sort of, more like events and conferences and, being educational. We wanted to try and keep a bit of that as well, like retreats and things, which we do. But, so it was a case of going through each room and seeing, right, what's our vision for this room? What's our vision for that room? And of course, when you've got a lot of rooms to sort out, it's quite. Having said that, I'm glad that my husband, to be honest with you, sort of did the majority of that. I was too busy having children at that point. So I was busy. So my husband, my late mother-in-law, and my father-in-law, they kind of took the reins and they had a vision, and I sort of chipped in my little tuppence worth as and when, but they kind of went with it. And we had a really good team of people helping to do it as well, sort of, who knew, builders and stuff like that,
Yes.
who kind of put it all together. But without, my husband Jake and my mother-in-law and their vision of what, even down to like what wallpaper to choose. I mean, I've got to be honest, I'm rubbish at that. I'm really rubbish. So don't ever ask me to do any kind of interior design, because it's just, you'll end up with mermaids all over your wall or something. I mean, I'd like that, but we had to kind of build through and think about how it was going to be used, and actually we have changed things over the last few years. We've kind of redone stuff and added stuff and put a lot of pictures up, and we wanted to make it feel not. I don't want to sound not corporate, but you know what I mean. Like, we're not a hotel.
Yes.
It's a family home as well as a business, but we wanted to put our personality to it.
Yeah.
So we wanted to make sure that it felt cozy, that people felt relaxed, but equally, it felt like it was a proper, business place, and also had all the things that people would need. The old meets the new is a kind of vibe that we like. We love wood. Like, give us reclaimed wood, give us tree. We love wood. We love wood. So we wanted to have that kind of feel about it. So it's taken us a number of years, and like I say, we're always trying to improve on it and trying to build, working on it, and improve and add things to it, and with building like the top of the field, they've got like that lookout thing that we haven't quite finished that yet, but we're trying to add things to the site to sort of give people make that exactly like we've added the fountain at the front of the balustrade, and that was added a couple, I think, gosh, it's worth time gone, about 2 years ago now. I can't remember. Gosh,
I don't remember.
I don't
remember it not having.
No, it was just like a pillar with flowers in it, which was lovely.
Yeah.
But yeah, the fountain. I think I love the fountain. I love a bit of water feature there.
Yeah.
Feng shui and all that.
I love it.
But it's just one of those things that you kind of build on as you go along. That you sort of change a bit or add a bit, and actually feedback from people, and is also important, because you want to make sure that it suits their needs as well, which is really important. When you not just for couples, but for corporate of us booking, what would they need? If a bride and a honeymoon suite, well, they're going to need lots of mirrors and lots of things to so they can prepare themselves, pamper themselves. So you need to kind of think about how all these spaces, any place that you buy, you have to think how it's going to be used and what you're going to need, and kind of start from there, really.
It's a very so I would say this about now, if you're a new venue or a venue that is possibly looking to start, the one thing I'm going to say to you, I'm going to recommend you do, is before you open your doors, get a photographer, a recognised photographer, or get a videographer, again recognised, and get them to come in and talk to them. Because the amount of venues, and you are not one of these, so don't panic.
I didn't do that, but I didn't know about this. I wasn't told, so any advice is...
There are multiple venues that they stick you right in front of windows. I can mention a few established venues where there is a indoor space where you get married, and they're plonked right in front of windows. Now, you ask any photographer and any videographer, a bright sunny day, you're lost. Because when you're in my industry, you appreciate how good eyes are. The fact that it's quite dark in here by design, but we can both see all the corners, we can see everything. Whereas if I was to shine a camera on here, obviously what you can see out of these cameras is the two big lights that are pointed at our heads. Now, without those, let's do this actually. Give me a minute.
Experiment.
Absolutely. Why not? This will only work if you're on YouTube. So if you're audible, sorry about this. So actually not too bad, but that is me without my key light on.
It makes a massive difference.
Yeah, it does.
Massive difference.
Huge. Now I am blessed a bit there because we've still got your key light on, but lighting is massive and very key, very important. Podcast listeners will be going, well, we can't see that, mate. So, sorry, everybody. Basically, I turned the light off, turned it back on, showed myself in two different lights, just to see what the difference was and how massive it was.
The thing is that having a videographer, photographer, that's your memories.
Yeah.
Like, that's somebody's memories of their day. It is the most important thing, apart from obviously getting married, but that is going to be with you for the rest of your life. So you're going to need to make sure that everything is absolutely tip top. You have to think of how it's going to look, and you know, it's so important for the supplier coming that they know that they've got something, because essentially that's your product as well. So you want to make sure that it shows off at your best light. So that's a really good suggestion.
There is a very established venue in Exeter that I personally am not a huge fan of, and the reason why I'm not a huge fan of is because of this reason. Now, annoyingly, I've seen other I've shot there a few times now, and I've never had the opportunity to do this, but I've seen multiple photographers, videographers who have had the option of, they've got this beautiful building and they get married outside, which gives you so much flexibility rather than this rubbish room that they stick you in. You know, I'm thinking about accessibility as well, not just where you put them in terms of the lighting, but also can your photographer, can your videographer get out? Can they, when they're at the top, have they got runs down the side? Can they get out and around? Can they move so that they can change their angle rather than being stuck? Because if you wanted to just be stuck somewhere, you might as well go get married in a church, because you always get stuck in a church.
One way in, one way out.
Absolutely. One way in, one way out. Absolutely. But no, you know, I don't, it's not fluffing when I do say. What I am excited about, very soon, less than 3 weeks now, I'm the photographer for the first time at your venue.
Oh, fantastic.
And I've never been the photographer. I've only ever been the videographer. And I'm excited. The reason why I'm excited is because with your venue, and there are a few like you, but not many, there are some venues that they have 1 or 2 locations. Mm-hmm. You've got hundreds.
You could spend all day.
You've got lots. I'm going to run out of. I think I've got more the worry that I'm going to run out of daylight with them two, rather than the alternative of. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I am excited to see what I can do there, because obviously I see some worldy shots at your beautiful venue. And I want to go. I want to go, and I'm getting my go, so that's cool. Because obviously for me, I'm now trying to undo people's knowledge of me, because I think obviously where I was only one human, I could only ever be either videographer or photographer. So I just stayed as a videographer, and I did the occasional photos for people when they did their due diligence and found me. I never advertised it. But now I've got my little team, it means that I can now step away from being the videographer and I can be the photographer, which is cool, because it means that I've got options and I can do more, and I can control all the elements for you if you want, but also with the idea that, look, we're chill about it. So it's like, if you just like me because I'm a videographer and you want a different photographer, wicked. If you like my photo style but you like someone else's videography style, also cool. Yeah, because again, we've got some just in the local area that are brilliant videographers, brilliant photographers, and I give monkeys who I work with. I just love what I do. Just love what I do. So no, cool. Okay. So you have touched on this, but we're going to go into it in a bit more detail. So when people obviously naturally are associated with me because I do weddings. Mm-hmm. The reason naturally why weddings are such a fixture of my staple is because naturally, as a videographer and a photographer, weddings are the only thing that are consistent for me, because they're the only thing I can predict, because everything else I do is property. So that is as and when people want to sell the house. Yeah. So it can't be, so that's not on my timetable, it's on theirs. Mm-hmm. And on the state of the market, because as we know, the market is a bit of a mess at the moment. So it's only certain types of people are selling their properties, and certain types of people are buying their properties, and certain people aren't. So it's meant that naturally the market's a bit of a mess. And because of that, I don't talk about my commercial side very much, only mostly because I've been scared to take the lid off that one. Because if I promoted that half as much as I do weddings, I'm worried about how inundated I would be. and how much I can physically do. It's the reason why I'm like, there has to be a limit on how many weddings I can do, because naturally, if I was doing, say, 100 weddings a year, for instance, A, it would kill me off, and B, naturally, it would, where would I edit?
Oh, that's good. Yeah, actually.
Where would I edit? Yeah. Because now, touch wood, luckily, I'm seeing the one I've just sent off today. Their photographers only yesterday sent them their photos. So I touch wood, I know I'm not too far behind, which is nice. But yeah, so you do, one thing I know you prevalently do, you do murder mystery nights.
Yes, we do murder mystery. We got one this Saturday, actually.
You do?
You have, yeah. So we do those. We sort of started those, I think, about a year or two ago, maybe 2 years ago.
Yeah.
We can only do
Feels
them,
about right.
we can only do them when we can fit them in between our wedding season, really. So we sort of try and do at least maybe 2 or 3. I try and aim for like 3 a year if I can. And they've been wonderful. It's sort of a team of 5 actors come from South Devon called Moonstone Theatre Company. And they're fantastic. And, you get a wonderful 3-course meal served with it alongside, So it's a really cool public, anyone can come and join in. It's normally 1940s based, so everyone dresses up. It's such a cool night. It's really good fun. So we do those. We also work with the Children's Hospice. Southwest, so we're doing a couple of events. We do a couple of events with them every year. It tends to be around Christmas time as well. Okay. So that's really lovely to support them.
Of course.
And but we do a lot with the NHS in terms of they book us for sort of corporates and trainings and away days because we're a private venue.
Yes.
And also, we are very conscious about being confidential, and we look after them. Whenever they have like buffet or food or lunch, we make sure we do a nice job. They do such an important job.
Yes.
We like to look after people,
yes.
so we try and look after people best we can. Mm-hmm. So we do an awful lot of corporate. We've done retreats, mindfulness retreats, which are really good fun. That's with the Devon School of Mindfulness. Which is again a very different type of thing, but we'd like to do more sort of like yoga retreats and art retreats and writing retreats, because it is a lovely, quiet, peaceful, but there's place, but there's also so much around that you can take inspiration from, like the woodlands and the walks and just being in somewhere a bit different. I mean, North Devon is absolutely gorgeous, so it's nice to have that sort of creative, get those creative juices flowing for people. So we're always looking at doing more things like that. Yeah. We do a few private things as well, not so many just because we can't fit them in really. But we also do something called tea at Tawstock. That's a new thing that we've been doing, which is afternoon teas. So we've been doing high afternoon teas and cream teas and our own stone baked pizzas. Jake built a pizza oven recently. I think it was about a year ago. Our first ones were touch and go, to be fair, but we've done a lot since then. So we've got our own little stone baked pizza oven going on there, and we're trying to encourage more public things, but it's just when we can fit them in, really. But like yourselves, we've got to be a bit careful, because when people come for like events, especially weddings, they get the day before to come and set up. They get the day of the wedding, and then they leave after breakfast, and it's a very nice relaxed. We're not sort of in the door, out the door, get out. We're not that kind of place. So we like to give people, and it's like with meetings, give them the space, give them the time, give them what they need. Everyone, whatever job you're in, if you need that time away to think about stuff or whatever it is you might need to do, you want to be able to give people the space and the time to do that, and make them feel like relaxed enough that they can sort of feel that they can make the most out of that one day they've got to plan something or to learn something, or or to like I say, to enjoy that process of getting married and enjoying the venue, enjoying being there, without feeling rushed. I think that's quite important, really. You don't, it goes so quickly, these things. You just want to try and make the most of it, really, don't you?
Yeah, because life moves at a pace, doesn't it? And it's quick. Because our little boy is nearly 3, we have lots of memberships to naturally all these places. One place that we have that he adores Rosemore.
Oh, that's we used to have memberships to Rosemore.
Yeah.
Brilliant place.
And for me, personally, I adore it, because as I've got older and naturally busy, and I'm now running this beast, and it's my world moves at 1,000,000 miles an hour, and I wouldn't want what I have to do. If I wouldn't want to make someone else work the way that I do, but I love it. It works for me, but I certainly, if I had an employee, I wouldn't put my employee through what I put myself through. But then it does mean that when I go to places like there, and this is what you're talking about, isn't it? Now, if you don't live here, or you don't know this, Tawstock is a tiny, tiny, tiny little village. Yes, it's up in the hills above basically all of Barnstable. I live in Roundswell, which is a very popular housing area, just up the hill out of town in Barnstable, and you're about a 9-minute drive away from me. So you're so close, but yet when you're there, it's so peaceful, and it is good. It's a great place for a yoga retreat or something of that ilk because of that nature, because it is by nature of where you are and who you are. It's such a peaceful place. It's such a truly peaceful place, and that's
apart from the train that goes by every hour. You got the train.
Yeah, I'll know soon because because of the lady that I'm shooting photos for, we're also friends. So I'll be staying with you that night.
Oh, fantastic!
Yeah, absolutely.
Put in a good room then.
Yes, so me and my wife will be.
Oh, fantastic! Oh, that'd be lovely.
It will be, actually. I'm very much looking forward to it. Yeah, just because,
enjoy our breakfast then the next day.
Yeah, absolutely. No, yeah, and obviously it's nice. Obviously, nice to be a big part of someone's day like that, and it's lovely.
It's nice. It's just a case of being the guest there, and also we're working and just enjoying every part of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
it's I suppose that's the joys of what I've said this previously, that I'm superbly good at. When it's on, when I'm switched on, I'm on, and when I'm off, I'm off. I'm very good at that. I can, when I'm not working or I'm not doing anything, and I can do that within a day. So if I'm photos or video for you, but then I'm not in a period, I can switch it right off.
Yeah, you need to do that just to maintain your sanity, I think, really, isn't it? And also to enjoy it. You want to be able to enjoy those moments, because life just goes by so quickly.
Bit of serenity in the chaos. It does. It keeps you grounded, keeps you happy. Because life's stressful, but it can be, but it's not really, is it? So no, we're too lucky. We're too lucky humans, aren't we? But I keep being told by various people that I took a ballsy step by stepping into this and just doing it on my own. And you also took a ballsy step, yes, because you took on a building that clearly wasn't in a very good state of repair, that was built for a different purpose, not built to be what it is now, and you've turned that into one of the most incredible wedding venues that also does all these other things, and you should be damn proud of yourselves.
It just doesn't mean, I've never really thought about it like that. It's like when you say it, it's like, gosh. How did that happen?
At some point you stepped completely away from the corporate world, and you went, I'll do it myself. Rather than doing it for you. But also, and I think again, you dropped in earlier that in that process when you were building, that you went and worked. Where was it? You said you worked for a little.
Lidl's. Yeah, loved it as well. That was great fun.
I've said previously that if the bubble was to burst for me, and this wasn't to continue, and it might not. There's nothing to say that it won't. I hope that it will. I hope that it just continues to go the way it's going. But if at any point it did dry up, or look, we had another pandemic, I will hold my hands up and say that I was a beneficiary of the pandemic, because this was still part-time for me, and the pandemic gave me the ability to go full-time, because we had a whole host of weddings that had all been pushed back, and they were all, and you know what that sounds
Oh
like.
gosh, it was just unbelievable. But
everybody crunched.
you just feel for so many.
Everybody trying to crunch into 24 months,
Oh God, yeah, no,
and it was.
one heck of a
It was a ride, wasn't it?
Oh,
Jeez, yeah, because you could be going. I think in the height of the pandemic, I think I did last September. I did 22 different filming events in 1 month, and in that month I had a week's holiday in that month as well.
That's incredible.
So
you are a legend.
I had 3 days. I had 3 days where I didn't do anything. And I quite literally, because I needed it, I did nothing.
Did you sleep?
I slept and ate and tried to be a human. Yeah, absolutely.
Gosh, that's intense.
It was crazy. But yeah, you know, if you do think about it in that respect, you know, you took a hell of a risk.
It was. I don't know quite what we were letting ourselves in for, but sometimes that's not a bad thing.
No.
Because I think if people knew exactly, like if you're going to take a risk on something and you think, if you could see in the future and know exactly what you had to go through, I bet a lot of people probably wouldn't. You probably think, actually, no, that's too, don't know if I can face that. I don't think I could get through that. So sometimes you need to take that leap of faith, I would say, and just put your all into it and have one shot, go for it. And do you know what? It doesn't matter if it fails. If it fails, it doesn't matter. Try again. But you got to give it a shot.
Yeah, I'm thinking quite literally the idea of doing this on that entire building.
I didn't have to do that bit. Thank God. I think Jake did it actually. On like a big cherry, like a special cherry picking thing.
Yeah.
We had to do it in sections, like sections across the wall. And I think I've got photos of like scaffolding that bit, then scaffolding that bit, and then and you had to do it carefully and properly because it's had to really do it properly. But it was worth was worth it. But when I look back at, I will try and do some social actually on these, but like the before and after, you kind of think I don't remember it looking that rubbish. But it just kind of brings you home as to what we've had to do to get to this point. And there's still a long road ahead, really. There's still a huge amount to be done. But yeah, gosh, the time doesn't half go, especially bringing up like 2 children as well. Sort of in that process, it's like a flipping heck.
But I do think there is something in that I was a beneficiary of COVID, but then I had a COVID baby.
Oh yeah, you did.
Yeah, and because of him, it actually made me go, I've got this thing, and I can control it, and I can be, if I want to, like my boy's gone into nursery today with a little bit of a tickly cough. Now I was worried that he had that yesterday, and I was worried that it would be. He'd be worse this morning. Luckily, touch wood, he wasn't. He was about the same, if not a bit better. Now, if that was the case, I wouldn't have come in today. I wouldn't have come into my studio today. I would have obviously said, "Look, sorry, Laura, I can't do today because I've got parental responsibilities here."
Yes, I understand that.
Yeah, and no, definitely, he motivates this for me, without a doubt, because I can control it. I think that I hope that he can see that I love it. Yeah, that I'm not I suppose I would say I've been lucky that I haven't really worked anywhere that everywhere I've worked I've always enjoyed. I've had the luxury of working at some very cool places for some very cool people. But I hope that he can see that now I am, in that respect, I'm the happiest I've ever been.
Oh, you're where you want to be.
Yeah,
and you've done that yourself. You've pushed yourself to be in that that position. So it's congratulations. You should be very proud of yourself.
Thank you. It's I would say I am, but with a caveat that, and this you will understand because you are this person entirely. Yeah, that I am proud of it and comfortable and back it from a point that, look, you trust me to do your photos, your video, I will nail it for you. I'm comfortable, I'm confident in that arena, but not to a point that, by not booking me, what are you doing? Why wouldn't you book me? Because I appreciate that I am good at what I do, but there are also multiple others that are fantastic. And why shouldn't they be your photographer? Why shouldn't they be your videographer? Be awesome, stay humble.
That's exactly right. And you know what? We're all in this together.
Yeah.
And it's not always about you. It's about your clients, your customers. And if they want you to do it, they will want you with all their heart to do it. They trust you, and and there's someone out there for everybody. But it's always such joy and real privilege to be chosen as part of someone's special day. Like, that is the biggest honour and privilege you can get. Like, they're trusting you to do that thing, and it does make me feel very. I mean, I get emotional every wedding. I get emotional, like every wedding, especially sounds of it. But when I see everyone dressed up and everyone happy, and there's a few little tears of joy, and it's just such a lovely occasion, and all their hard work has come into one thing. And with corporates, knowing that they trust you to run their event, because they don't have much time at the office either. It goes for anything that you do. So to have that level of responsibility, you need to know what you're, be confident in what you're doing, but equally know that you're doing the best you can for them.
Yes.
Definitely. But know when to have a bit of downtime.
Absolutely.
Cup of tea and a biscuit on a Sunday evening. Thank you very much.
Hell yeah. Awesome. I love that. Cool. I think that's a wonderful start, a wonderful place to finish the end of part 2 and join us shortly for part 3. Cool, welcome back to part 3. Going to be an awesome little show ender. And to end today's show, we've got one hell of a topic that we want to talk to you about. Now, we are proud members of the North Devon Wedding Network, which is a collective member of wedding vendors and wedding providers that are based in the North Devon area. Now, we have a network that is pretty much 40 to 50 strong now. Yeah, so it's a big old network of places of people. It's even to a point where your massive venue is being pushed, isn't it?
Absolutely, we're trying to squeeze people in now. We'll get it done, but I mean, it's just grown so much, even from when we joined, and it was going before then. Yeah,
it was, because I chaired it.
Before. That's right. Yes, that's right. It's when it was way back. Yes, of course. Yeah.
Because its birth came from. It used to be the Cedars, that's right. And then they had a wedding coordinator who ran this networking event, and he was let go. So they didn't have anybody that was doing it. So they basically said, you can have this network, no problem. You can have it here, no problem. But you've got to run it. And then we went, okay, so we need someone to run it. And everyone just pointed at me. And I went, okay, if you want. So I brought in Jules. I brought in Michelle. There are some others, but of the ones that are still with the network, and the ones that I'd say are hugely important, because Michelle's a committee member now, isn't she? And absolutely one
and a wonderful makeup artist as well, isn't she? Yeah, she's great.
Yeah, absolute legend. Yes, so we in every January, February time after the Christmas period, we host our own wedding show. And in the absence of other shows after the global pandemic, we found ourselves in a situation, didn't we, 100%, where it was the biggest show in North Devon.
I think it was at the point where I remember it was we had a week, I think, where they were going to decide whether they were going to have another lockdown, or it was something to do with restrictions, something, wasn't it? And we were literally waiting, and we had a week before we could make that decision. Yeah. Are we going to go for it or not go for it, or is it going to be online? Because we did that on because it was Vicky and Jack, and they all did like an online one, didn't they? Yes. Vicky and Jackson Michelle, and and that was great. Even then, when nobody could see anything, they still the wedding network still tried to provide a wedding show with everybody's on it, and they were literally. I remember them telling me they were on the computer the whole day for an entire day, just pressing play and making sure. I mean, the commitment there is just fantastic from them. But it was like a week, and then they were given the go ahead, and it's like, right, get it done. And I think it was crazy. I don't think there was any other shows, was there, in the area.
And even
it was just amazing.
Yeah, because even last year it was a few smaller ones popped up in places. But this year now the Milky Way are going again, aren't they? And they were always a big one.
Yes,
but I do think now we've set ourselves on a path where we are now a major staple of the year in this area, where actually our huge footfall. We have great variety of vendors. We have a stonkingly great venue. Yours.
Happy.
Absolutely. Yeah, and it's just a wicked. I'm going to have to get that up because I do know the date.
Monday, the 14th of January.
There we go. Boom.
Yeah.
Because obviously I just know it as it's it's in my calendar of things to do. And I share all my stuff on socials. But apart from that, because that's how my business works in terms of I can deal with, I know my next 2 weddings. And beyond that, I know who I've got coming up. But they're not on my focus at all. It's the next 2. And then once they're done, then I'll focus on my 4 individual December shoots. And that's it then. Because it's like, So when it comes to that,
it's a lot to fit in your head, isn't it? Really?
Always,
it's a lot.
Yes.
And there's so many details.
Always, yes. If I didn't have an amazing woman at home, I would be struggling because she's a wizard. Yeah, because she tells me where I am, when I need to do it, what I'm doing, when I'm being sociable, who I'm being sociable with.
You need that support at home. You do. You absolutely need. You need a family around you to be amazing and help. And you need to help each other. It's not just family business. Like even. Is it a family business, or is everyone needs to play their part in order to make everything fall into place? Because you are going to get challenges along the way. There are going to be family things, situations that happen, and things that you have to deal with along with everything else. And we're very lucky, aren't we? Got to be flexible. We are very lucky.
We are very lucky. No, it's very cool. It's very, very nice place to be. Yes. So obviously, if you are free on that date. And you do want to come and see some of North Devon's very best wedding suppliers, get that date in your diaries. I 100%. Yeah, it's free. You still have to book a ticket. The reason why you book a ticket, now, I don't actually understand why other shows don't do this yet. Some shows do, but not many. Many shows still go down the route of it's on from this period to this period. You can come whenever you like. That's old school, and it shouldn't be done that way anymore. And the way we do it is so healthy. There is a reason why we do it that way, but I actually think it's a happy accident, because basically the sheer footfall that we get, the car park can't take it, can it? So we have to schedule time slots so that we can get a nice spread of you're in, then you're out, then the next group of people come in, out, in, out. Now, what that bred in itself is that you get quality time with these quality people. So they can have a run round, view everything once, point out, we'd like to go for a deeper conversation there. Or you can actually be afforded full 20 minutes with a couple, get to know them properly, talk with them about every facet of your business, why you might be the one for them, why you might not be, what you can do, what you can't do, what they want, what they don't want. And that's not always afforded at certain other shows.
No, I think it works brilliantly well. And also it's not crowded then. No. You've got space and it's relaxing. You're not kind of all trying to crowd around the cake stand to get a bit of free cake or whatever. It's a wonderful thing, and it also flows. And they put on, they provide you with like a welcome drink. There's canapes floating around. You can have food there. I mean, it's a really nice afternoon out, isn't it? It is. Especially if you're looking, or even if you've booked your wedding and you're looking for suppliers, or if you haven't booked it, or if you know that you're going to get engaged, if you kind of have an inkling, they're going to propose, because you never know. Because there's something happening, and then you go along just to have a look to see what's out there, because like I say, it's new for a lot of people, but also you get to know the local suppliers, and supporting local business is always such an important thing, and supporting each other, and everyone gets to, everyone knows everybody in North Devon, don't they?
They do.
It's such a great thing.
Whereas obviously I go to an awful lot of wedding shows, and okay, you get to know vendors, and most of them, touch wood, 99% of them they're awesome. Yeah. But there are a few that are a bit cutthroat, and they're a bit, oh, right, I'm out for me, and I'm not about the bigger picture. Whereas because we are a network of suppliers and we are all friends, and actually I look at the network group as colleagues, really, because we don't have colleagues.
We're like a team, aren't we?
We are, yeah.
We're a team. We
Because
can always
if
we recommend each other.
Because if I need a something, I'll go to that person. If I need a something, I'll go to that person. And likewise, they do to me. So we have that different type of show where it can be like, right, what do you need? Because if you need a something, I can, with great confidence, go, that person would be perfect for you, as opposed to going, and what I sometimes have to do, I get a lot of, can you check the date? Sorry, I'm unavailable. But there's another person over there. Now, luckily for me, most shows I go to, I do video and photo and film. Now, they're based in Newquay, my friends, and they are awesome. So I'll comfortably go, I can't, but they might. Yeah? So go there. Whereas if I don't know them, which also often happens, I can't comfortably go and go, oh, they're over there, and I recommend them because I don't know them.
No.
Whereas we know exclusively all of our vendors really well, don't we? Yeah, we do. So, wicked. Yeah, absolutely.
It's going to be a great show.
It is going to be an awesome show. It's going to be absolutely awesome. I did put a few ideas to the group about how we could possibly make it bigger, but yeah, exactly. It was
That's right. There's always room to grow.
It was a bit like that. But all is good. All is good. I think it's something that we might look to maybe next year about how we might do that. But I'll talk about the rest of that off camera. You don't need to hear about our wedding network show.
Just attending.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. Absolute pleasure. Absolutely loved it.
It's been fantastic.
Buzz that I've had you on.
Oh, thank you so much for inviting me. Honestly, I've had the best time. Yeah. It's something that everybody should do a podcast with you. Everybody should come and have a chat with you. It's great.
Come and do a podcast with me. No, it sounds good. Sounds very good. No, right, guys. Absolute pleasure. Thank you. If you've listened on any Spotify or podcast provider, any Spotify or any other podcast provider. And thank you if you've watched on YouTube. Really appreciate it. Yeah, that's it for us. Take care, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.